Sienna God, hello all, Oshta afternoon, good afternoon, and Wado, thank you for watching. So this is day 57 of Transformation of America, the True Life Story of a CIA Mind Control Slave by Kathy O'Brien with Mark Phillips. And we are wrapping up chapter 28 of Kathy's story and hopefully getting into chapter 29, the Lizard of AHS. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Although I was considered to be no threat predicated on the, in parentheses, erroneous belief that I could not be deprogrammed to regain my memory of these events, my death would provide extra insurance to those involved. I was nearly used up anyway, and recording my death via snuff film, okay, was agreed upon as proof to De La Madrid and other leaders at risk that I had indeed been silenced through death. I could not think to respond to Reagan's death sentence. Dante wanted to make sure I grasped the point as he graphically expounded. The next time I ignite your, and this is on parentheses, brackets, sexual flame, baby, it will consume you, body and soul, and you will burn, baby, burn, and I'll take your ashes and scatter them to the wind. I'm going to blow you away on film. What? Upon hearing something cryptic to which he could relate, Valenti laughed at Dante's twist of words. Referring to the old porn blue pencil editing term blue movies, he added blue blazes. Dante laughed with him. Well, we'll call it Who in Blue Blazes Was That? Or how about Cream 8, CREAM-ATE. De La Madrid noticed Reagan was not laughing and said, that's like crashing a Mercedes to film a stunt. He leaned forward in his chair, closer to Reagan, lowered his voice, and said, it is my desire to have 7 just like her roll off the assembly line and shipped to me prior to the agreement's completion. Reagan agreed, responding, those, in parentheses, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fine kids on the relay to Saudi Arabia are top of the line, but they don't have what she's got. 2-faced ones are hard to come by. De La Madrid quipped, referring to my vaginal mutilation and presidential programming code. He cut his eyes over to me, touched himself, and cryptically continued, from one perspective anyway, and I like having one I can count on. Reagan chuckled while Dante shifted his feet and unfolded his arms long enough to cough laugh. Okay. Valenti seemed to be bored of cliches or was missing many of the cryptic double meanings, but judging from the tone of the meeting, that was just as well. I'll mention it to Bobby, in parentheses, Bird, and delegate your order to him. Reagan told his Mexican counterpart, it should be relatively simple to slip one in for you every few shipments or so once the Juarez border is open to such free trade activities as planned. So they're running humans through the goddamn border. Reagan spoke as though he were distracted and thinking of something else, even when he looked my direction. If you please, sir, I began. I have the presidential seal of approval and am prepared to fulfill my role. Dante looked at his watch, aware that I was scheduled to be at the Juarez border by the stroke of midnight. Reagan walked over to see the paper I had received from De La Madrid the night before. Okay, well, farewell, kitten, Reagan said as he kissed my cheek. He added in Oz cryptic, I'll see you on the other side, in parentheses, of the rainbow in DC. Click your heels. My world spun black. Someone had hit me with a powerful stun gun as I was down, feeling as though Dante was half dragging me as he led me to his car, which was already idling in the circular drive. We soon pulled up to the motorhome at the gas station on Hollywood Boulevard, where he had picked Kelly and me up several days before. Kelly was already in the motorhome, vomiting, sick, and horribly traumatized. She had been convinced by someone that I had been killed. Oh my God. Houston attempted to create a hypnotically induced time slip, acting as though I had only been gone for a few minutes. We drove quickly, stopping only for fuel in order that I be in Juarez at the appointed time. There, I robotically presented the presidential seal of approval to the proper officials as programmed, officially opening the door to, free trade of crimes against humanity. Houston and I had hurried across the Juarez border, where we were met by the Mexican official in charge. The guard looked to be in his late 40s, with classic rugged Mexican features. He stood approximately 5'11", had black hair and unkempt mustache, black beady eyes, and a paunchy belly protruding over his short, squat legs. He spoke excitedly in Spanish with a harsh, cold tone to his voice, as He spit out the necessary words in English. Give me the seal. He snapped his fingers impatiently, hurrying me. He took the presidential seal and knocked me face down on top of a small, barren metal desk while he closely inspected the document. What? Even Houston was unusually quiet while this peculiar uniformed guard paced the small tower room, sweating profusely while he talked on his walkie-talkie. Finally, he accessed and verified the bank transaction codes provided through whom he said was George Bush Jr. He concluded the encounter by taking a stun gun from his belt and jolting me with it, supposedly to erase my memory. Okay. I was nauseated and weak from high voltage and the ordeal as Houston and I made our way back across the border. My empty stomach rolled, prompting Houston to lie. I told you not to drink the water. In reality, I had nothing to drink since the champagne at the Hotel California, and I hadn't eaten in days. I was thoroughly exhausted when we reached the motorhome in El Paso, but Houston was sexually aroused from cocaine and the criminal events that merged Mexico with the U.S. at the Juarez border. Ugh. Chapter 29, The Lizard of AHS, Alpha Hilo Sierra. After the opening of the Juarez border, I was kept actively busy, according to the plan to use me up before my 30th birthday death sentence. I was subjected to a brutal and near-death gang rape celebration benefit at an identified Masonic lodge in Warren, Ohio, to celebrate the free trade benefits, gained by involved East Coast politicos. Centers such as the nearby Youngstown Charm School went into mass production of the slaves to mule drugs or to be part of mind-control sex slave transport, TRANCE-sport operations. Mexico was not the only country reaping the economic benefits of criminal free trade. After Kelly's ordeal in California, Dante and Houston were criminally exploiting her for literally all she was worth. Subsequently, she missed an extraordinary amount of schooling. When she was in school, she was experiencing difficulty with her peers. These factors prompted plans to send her to a local Catholic school the next year, where her unusual behavior would be overlooked and covered up. Soon thereafter, Senator Byrd came to Nashville to fiddle at the Grand Ole Opry. As my handler, Houston remarked, "Fiddle around with me at the Opryland Hotel." Ugh. Byrd explained that close association with me had become volatile due to my roles in Iran, Contra, and NAFTA, and therefore he would be distancing himself from me. He spent most of our last night together working on his memoirs for a voluminous book on the U.S. Constitution he was writing, in brackets, now published at taxpayers' expense, which focuses on his long-winded Senate, in parentheses, filibuster speeches. Published at taxpayers' expense? I had no idea that they could even do that. Anyway, Byrd attempted to strengthen my programmed loyalty bond to him to keep me quiet until death do us part. He told me if it was up to me, I would let you live. He talked at length about how our time together had been infringed upon by both De La Madrid and Reagan. Bitterness over their stronger controls on me was evident as he mocked their self-appointed roles as the Wizard and Lizard of Oz. De La Madrid's fascination with U.S. mind-controlled slaves reportedly inspired him to combine Bush's lizard-like alien themes and his reputed Mayan roots/lizard man theories with Reagan's Oz themes to claim the role of Lizard of Oz, AHS. It's another play on words, okay? From Byrd's ramblings, it appeared his mockery of their roles was due to their having decided how his slave would die and had nothing to do with caring that I would be killed. Okay, my Byrd maintained his bonding programming charade all night. He played his fiddle and sang to me in place of his usual torturous whipping and brutality. Sex was for the first and last time painless. Okay, that's crazy. And just for the record, I understand they can do anything, but I had no idea about them being able to publish things with taxpayers' money. I don't know. Anyway, Byrd had not distanced himself too far from me, though, where government operations were concerned. When I was over the rainbow in D.C. during the summer of '87, it was business as usual with Byrd. I was escorted to Goddard Space Flight Center, where Byrd was waiting for me in a sterile hallway near the brass-trimmed mirrored elevators. He was loaded down with items, which he deposited on a small table as he greeted me. He picked up a NASA ID badge and clipped it to my nipple. Clipped it on my nipple, the metal teeth biting me with their serrated edges when I, in parentheses, softly cried out. He said, "Oh, okay, I'll wear it." Removed it and clipped it on his white lab coat. He handed me a NASA lab coat like his and a white hard hat, okay? His hard hat suggestively and humorously said hard in bold red letters. My hat said NASA in a mere reversal of a standard bold red lettering. All right, I'll go ahead and leave it there. Done. Love you, mean it.